we are coming in with our second JoJo, Joseph Joestar, the funny meme man who says, "Oh no!" And man, why is that funny? I don't know. True to his character's nature, though, Joseph is a pretty tricky character. He has 3 preset moves that are all pretty good and one that is absolutely S-tier busted. But for the most part, his moveset is okay. And then he also has the ability to grab items from boxes and then use them throughout the match. Stuff like you can get a Tommy gun and zone your opponent out with it. You can get some grenades to stick on your opponent. You can find a hammer with some unblockable properties. You can find, a fucking bottle of tequila that shoots your opponent, and then I guess a coconut tree falls down. I'm not really sure how to activate that one, but yeah, apparently it happens. I can never get it to work, but it happens apparently. Either way, Joseph is a pretty all-around balanced and really good character. I'd say he's probably the most... no, that's actually definitely not true, because his Hamon Clacker Volley is easily one of the most powerful tools in the entire game. In any situation. It is one of the best abilities in the game. His Clacker Volley, he can throw it, and it becomes the best combo tool in the entire game. Your opponent will just sit there like an idiot, trying to block it. It'll completely shred through their guard. One little, tap on the nose will break the guard, and you basically just won. The Clacker Volley is Joseph's big move that everybody spams all the time, and there's a reason. It's really good. The most annoying part about it is the fact that when it's Hamon charged, it does even more damage to your guard, and you just sit there for so long because it comes back. And that gives Joseph the opportunity. It's the best option select in the game. If you block it, Joseph will just walk up, break your guard. If you try to dodge it, the second time it'll come around and hit you, or Joseph will just track you down and hit you while you're trying to avoid it. If you're using it in a team fight, it's absolutely busted. If you're using it in a solo fight, it's really good then too. It's just such an immensely good tool that it makes everything else in Joseph's arsenal feel bad by comparison, and they are. That Clacker Volley is single-handedly the best part of his moveset, and it just makes me so upset because he's such a cool character, but everybody only uses the Clacker Volley, and that's it. However, his tools are pretty good. You would actually be surprised by how usable these tools are just in general practice. A lot of the time, a character like this, especially in a game like this, would be very niche, but these tools are really good, and some of them are stinkers, yeah. I think that the crossbow is kind of bad, but they're really good. You know, everything else has its use, and they're all pretty good. He has a wool hat that I was never able to get, so I actually don't quite understand how it works. It's like you leave a trail, and if they walk on the trail, they get paralyzed. I was never able to actually, like I said, use the wool hat. I was never able to find it. I did 3 matches and could not get it, so it must be really hard to find. But yeah, it's actually pretty fun to use Joseph, and he's just kind of a goofy character. Oh, he also has a counter, and I think this counter actually is pretty good. I tested it out against some other characters, and it actually does, a thing. Unlike a lot of counters, it actually does its job, especially against projectiles. But people never use it, I'm assuming because they're just spamming Clacker Volley, though. But use this character. He's really fun, and other than the Clacker Volley, he's probably the most balanced character in the entire game. Oh, fuck. The strawberry shortcake is so good. Oh, fuck. I can't believe a food could be this good, honestly, Oh, shit, it's recording. Fuck, I need a joke. Man, these Joestars must be related or something, because they're all, right next to each other. So rounding off our 8 tier, we are starting with Jolene Cujo, another JoJo of the series. Ooh. And this one is up above the other two before for a really good reason. her good move is insanely good. First of all, she's pretty versatile. She's a good trapper. She's a good kind of, like, tricky grappling character, almost. It's really weird. And she has some really niche abilities, but most of the time, she's just going to be using her Aura Rush, which is shockingly good. Her actual ability to use it is insane, because unlike most Aura Rushes, you kind of get an idea of how far away you can be before it starts to actually hit you. But her Aura Rush hits so goddamn far away, it's basically zoning by this point. Like, look at this! Look at it, dude! This single-handedly, in my opinion, makes Jolene the best Aura Rush in the entire game. It does pretty good damage, too. Like, about the same damage as someone like, you know, Giorno, Jotaro. But the range is just insane. It's ridiculous how far away you can hit people with this. It's unfair. And it's deceptive, too. Like, it's not even how far her fists go. It's, like, a little bit beyond that. And it's just stupid how far away you can just smack people around with this. All in all, Jolene's alright, but that punch alone would almost make her an S tier. But the rest of her kit is pretty niche, in my opinion, except for her traps. Her traps are good. She does, however, have a couple moves that are a little odd. Excuse that. Fuck. Jolene has an ability that never gets used because you're probably dead by the time she can use it, where she gets a Mobius strip and it slightly decreases her damage. Neat. She also has an ability that lets her light herself on fire for more damage at 1 health bar left. And this seems like it would have a massive trade-off if you're deliberately damaging yourself, but no. No, it's literally useless, basically. Like, it really isn't that much more damage, from what I can tell. And honestly, she already does really good damage already, so why do we need more, you know? The rest of her abilities feel like they should hit a lot more often than they do. And I don't know, she's just kind of a weird character, where all of her moves are either insanely good or insanely bad. There's not really an in-between. But yeah, that's all we really got for Jolene. From figuratively zoning out your opponents to literally zoning out your opponents, we got Mista in A tier, and honestly, I think he's one of the more interesting zoning characters, and I think he's severely underused. In my opinion, he's just a cooler version of Kakyoin, because rather than just spamming the square button the entire time, you actually do get some pretty cool little things you can do with Mista. First of all, you have to manually reload, which is kind of a pain, but I think overall it's very much worth it, and makes Mista a more complex and kind of difficult character to use. But at the same time, he's still not that hard. He still press the funny square button to zone. That's just kind of his entire character. And while you're only going to be using his triangle move, which places the bullets onto opponents to juggle them, I still think he has a really interesting moveset. He has the ability to reload at any time, which I love. His actual ability to bounce people around with his triangle ability is really good. And if you're not really feeling like doing the basic bitch thing, you can also just slap the bullets onto a bullet. The Sex Pistols, I mean. Onto a bullet. And then you have the ability to just kind of track people with the bullets, so it's not as easy to sidestep. The thing about Mista is that you can actually get some really insane damage off of his zoning, like Johnny levels of damage. Granted, you will have to be in dual combo mode, of course, because that's where all the insane damage in this game comes out. But with Mista, you can still get a really good amount of damage and juggling. Like right there, you can see, I just took off like half health with all of my bullets and having them stacked on him, and it was really good. Overall, once you start losing momentum as Mista, it really hurts. He's very much a momentum-based character. If you start getting attacked when you don't want to, it really starts affecting you negatively. You need a lot of room, a lot of space, and a lot of time with Mista, unlike some of the more powerful zoners. But, unlike some of the powerful zoners, you can actually do, you know, like, combos and stuff. So, Mist is interesting in that way, in the sense of, like, you have to actually think, which isn't common in this game, trust me. You'll see in the later tiers, you can just go baby mode. But Mist is interesting, you know? Again, not a super complicated character, but as far as zoning goes, he's pretty unique. And I actually really appreciate that his zoning is pretty straightforward and simple. But not in the way of it being too simple. It's still able to have some versatility and fun to it. So at this point of the game, I have a lot of hours and a lot of time spent. And I'm sure you're wondering, who is my main? Who out of all of these wild and different characters could possibly be my main? Could it be Jotaro, one of the best combo characters in the game? Could it be Giorno, the really cheap transformation character that everyone likes to use? Could it be a low tier, like Polnareff, or maybe even Avdol? Am I just playing cheap, and I'll play a character like Vanilla Ice, or Endul? No, my friends. It's motherfucking Iggy! Yeah! Oh, look at him go! Oh! He's so much fun! Oh my god! Oh, no, he didn't! Oh, look out! Iggy's coming! Oh, he's stomping! Oh, look at him go! Oh, yeah, baby! Woo! This game isn't even fun anymore. For real, though, for me personally, Iggy is probably the most fun and versatile character in the entire game. He's not exactly amazing, right? But I think as far as pure versatility and moveset variety goes, he has one of, if not the best movesets in the entire game. Iggy is overall a pretty defensive character, which is a stark contrast to all the S-tier characters, which is probably the reason he's down here. But for me personally, I think that even though he is kind of a more defense-centered character, he can put out some pretty good damage at the same time. His overall moveset consists of a grapple, a zone, a trapping/zoning move, and the ability to literally regenerate health. And his trait is a counter that, shocker, actually works. Amazing, I know. A counter that actually works never happens. Not true, not real. It's like Bigfoot. But it does. And a lot of people don't know how to use it for some reason. Here's a secret. You gotta hold it down instead of clicking it. But aside from that, he also has the ability to glide, which is kind of useless. And it almost makes up for the fact that he doesn't have a dive attack, but I just wish he did. He'd be such a better character if he did. As far as his actual ability to chain attacks together go, he has very good combo potential. One of my big little combo that I do with Iggy is chaining Foul Beast into a square combo, and that way it kind of gives you the ability to actually get some really lengthy combos without using any flash guards or anything like, flash cancels or anything like that. Iggy overall is a pretty good character, and he's not really bad at anything. He's not amazing at anything, but I will say he definitely deserves a spot in A tier, and I think he's one of the most underestimated and underutilized characters in the entire game. Especially when he gets into dual combo mode, he can do like a little air combo and using the Fool out of Foul Beast, which is really good. He just kind of is really good, you know? There's not really a whole lot to say. I just think that I kind of uncovered a hidden gem in the game. Maybe a lot of people just don't think he's fun, but I will say, holy shit, his healing is crazy. Like, I think Iggy is one of the best counter-zoning characters anti-zoning characters in the entire game. Because when you use I'll Just Hide in Here, especially his EX version, you get a lot of health back. Like, Vanilla Ice and Dio can eat their hearts out because you just get stupid health back. And you have a complete guard that blocks literally everything except for unblockables, which, obviously. And your guard doesn't wear off. It's completely infinite. It's insane. And this entire time, you're just healing. A lot of people online don't want to accept that they can't just go through it. So especially like new players that really want to use Jotaro, they'll just spam their abilities and it'll do absolutely nothing. It won't even like slow down your healing. You'll just sit in there all comfy. They'll be spamming and using all their abilities, especially the EX ones, and you'll just get some free health. It's really cool. Also, keep in mind, his Foul Beast can actually get a true combo into his dual heat attack, which is the dumbest sentence I've ever heard said out of my own mouth. But it's true. He can actually combo his dual heat attack from Foul Beast. You just have to use it like as soon as you use it. And maybe it's situational. I only figured this out today when I was playtesting. But yeah, just look at that. It's stupid. Iggy's dumb. His Foul Beast is the most amazing counter in the entire game to like really any approach. If they're trying to dive kick, Foul Beast. If they're trying to sprint at you, Foul Beast. If they're trying to zone, Foul Beast. It just works with everything. And it's just super hard to approach Iggy. And on top of that, you can have your trait active, which lets you basically ignore the next attack and get a free hit. Iggy's dangerous, dude. Iggy's really dangerous. And there's just not a single bad move in his arsenal. I just can't talk enough about how much I just love Iggy. He's so great. And from my previous main to my old main, we got Diego Brando. And we're not talking about the alternate universe. We are talking about the Scary Monsters Diego, which a lot of people really just don't use him because Alt-World Diego is really good. Like, really good. But I think all around, Scary Monsters Diego is better, I would say. Just all around. He may not have the insane damage or the really good defense that Alt-World Diego has, but he has some of the best combo game in the entire game. He has some really good versatility. He's like almost Cars level when it comes to just straight combos. Like, he can get some crazy shit built up. And you never know what he's going to transition to because any of his moves are viable. Although most of the people are just going to use his square ability, which, fair, it's really high damage. But there are, of course, times where his triangle move and the EX version as well are going to be good. Now, the thing about Scary Monsters Diego is that you're really not going to use a Scary Monsters all that much. It's good because you have infinite hyper armor. Your attacks do a lot of damage, but I will say it's very easy to be punished in that. If an opponent gets a free grab, you're not really trying to defend, and you can't defend, so you're not going to be able to block it. People can actually get a free dual heat attack on you because you can't, flash guard in that. You can't disable it. You can't stop moving. You can't block. You have to jump if you're using Scary Monsters Diego, and if they catch you trying to use a move, then you just can't. You get caught. So be wary about that. But his actual moveset, when he's out of Scary Monsters, or Frightening Monsters, is insane. He is just so strong. His ability to just chain together any attack he wants is so crazy. And his speed is insane. He has like one of the fastest pokes in the game. And fun fact, his EX version of Gouge, just like Iggy's Foul Beast, actually can also true combo into a dual heat attack, so keep that in mind. Only the EX version though, the regular does not, but if you use the EX version, you can get some really disgusting damage. But yeah, Diego's great, and I would recommend him to just about anyone looking for a kind of rushdown combo style character. Next up, we got Kosaku Kawajiri, also known as Kira, but not the real Kira, but the fake Kira that is the real Kira, who's the fake Kira and the real Kira at the same time, but he's being fake Kira, but also real Kira. His moveset is identical to real Kira, who is the real Kira, not the fake Kira, who is the real Kira. Except for the fact that now, rather than a bunch of combo-heavy moves, he's actually more centered around zoning, so he gets these little projectiles he can shoot and they have the bombs attached, similar to, I'm done with this fucking joke. His projectiles have the bomb on them and they can be exploded at any time. You're almost always going to be using the triangle one because it requires a lot less work and you can actually advance on your opponent. The square one is a little bit dangerous because you have to sit there completely open and manually control the bomb. So that's a little dangerous. Also keep in mind, just like the original Kira, you have a very high likelihood of damaging both yourself and your allies with this bomb. So be careful with that. I think Kosaku has less of a problem with that just because of the fact that he's like more zoning centered. So unless you're just like trying, then you're probably not going to hit your friend very much. He also has a few abilities that kind of keep him down in the A tier pretty low. I almost considered making him a B tier character, but I'm not really sure. Either way, I decided A tier because, first of all, a lot of people do use him. There has to be a reason for that. And also, it's just, he's pretty good as a zoner if you know how to use him. I did not for most of this clip, as you'll see here. I'm just kind of fucking around. As for your actual ability to deal damage, of course, he's a Kira character, so of course his damage is really high. He doesn't have very many combos because, again, like I said, he's a zoning character, more or less. He does have one pretty big disadvantage where it is if he drops Stray Cat, which I'm not exactly sure what the prerequisite for that is. I think it's just getting into a combo and getting knocked down. But if you lose Stray Cat, you can't use like 80% of your abilities. However, if you run up to Stray Cat, which is almost always very close by, if you just sprint straight towards it, you're going to get it 90% of the time and not be interrupted. So it's not really that big of a drawback. Let's see here. He has the ability at 1 health bar to have his father randomly show up. And I feel like he does damage, but I've never seen him deal damage, you know? All I know is that he does increase the tracking of your bombs, which is really good. Makes your zoning even better. He does have like a counter and a trap. Both of them really aren't that useful. You never see them used, and there's a reason for that. They're just not that good. Some of the damage you can get on this character, though, is pretty insane. With just like one move, you can delete half a health bar if you're really patient and really smart about it. One of the big no-nos on this character, again, don't hurt your allies. And if you lose Stray Cat, get it back immediately, because that's, like I said, 80% of your moveset. But yeah, that's pretty much Kira in or Kosaku in a nutshell. There's not much else to it. I did almost forget, his dual heat attack actually has the unique property of letting him regain health upon use. So if you use your dual heat attack, everyone has their health reset. So keep in mind, this is a good way to get yourself out of a clutch situation, but it also helps your opponent, I guess, unless they just didn't get hit, in which case you really probably won't land the dual heat attack anyways. But just keep that in mind. It's a little safety tool that helps you kind of stay in the game for just a little longer. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by this, but I decided to put AC/DC above Kira. Sorry.
Kosaku.
Mostly because of the fact that Kosaku does have that weakness of having to pick up Stray Cat if he gets in a combo. I think that AC/DC is the worst of the 3 Pillarmen, which we'll get to them, those fucking monsters, in a minute. But AC/DC is just a good character. He's not an absolute freak like the others. Like the other Pillarmen, he has a weird, like, counter, like, if you perfect block an opponent's attack, you get to, like, capitalize off of it. However, with this game having one of the most dogshit online experiences, I would not recommend ever trying to land it. Because it never works. I can't even get it to work against the AI, honestly. But AC/DC has some interesting moves. So first of all, we have a ground punishing projectile where it almost never hits if you lock on. So be sure to unlock before using it. And you can 3-stack it like Vanilla Ice's kick. Unlike Vanilla Ice, he can actually do things other than that. For example, he has a combo extending, like, little tendrils on the ground. He has a health drain ability where he kind of grapples an opponent. And his trait allows him to surround himself in, like, a fiery orb. And it lets him kind of just, like, damage people, whether they're blocking or not, as long as they're pretty close to him. So as long as you're just, like, bashing an opponent's guard, not only are they going to be taking chip damage, but they're also going to be taking the passive damage from your trait, which is really good. His final ability, which is his X move, is actually pretty damn good. Basically, he enters a cooldown state where he just kind of stands there and fucking cries. And then while he's crying, he slowly... Well, no, not slowly. If you complete the cooldown, it's kind of like how characters like Strawheim or Rohan have like a buff. But instead of being a really shitty buff, he actually can get a counter or a flash guard back. You can like start charging it back up, and that's really good in this game because especially with AC/DC, you're probably going to be spending a lot of your flash guards trying to connect moves and get some ground punishes. But yeah, that's really good. AC/DC is a pretty good character. He feels bulky, but also like pretty high damage and versatile. I feel like he's pretty good, but not absolutely insane like the characters that'll be coming up on this list. Funny Valentine is an interesting character because he has one of the most broken abilities in the game. His teleport is really good for catching opponents off guard right off the bat. He has Love Train, which is also really good. He can just kind of like ignore zoning, which is a big deal in this game because zoning is very strong. He has the ability to not completely heal himself, but I think he heals himself for the health bar he's currently on, like completely for that health bar, which is insane. He has good combos, good damage. One of his best moves is the ability to clone himself, and sometimes this just doesn't really do anything and the other Valentine just fucks off, but if you get a good like RNG, that other Valentine is going to absolutely help you murder the opponent. Like, I've seen people almost like infinite people online. I've been almost infinite online by Valentines that just got really lucky with their clone. His zone actually isn't that good. It has like really shit tracking, as you just saw there. I completely missed when he was right in front of me. And there's a way to like, he has this weird combo where he launches you into the air and then he can like teleport up to you and do like a special move. I have no goddamn clue how to do it. It's never worked for me, but it always works for people online and they just spam it. It's really good, really high damage. Valentine just has a lot of tools that help him to stay in the game and to really just like capitalize on mistakes. And he's really interesting. I think he's a really fun character and he's pretty strong, honestly. He has a lot of really good combos that you can pull off, a lot of versatility. You really just can't go wrong with Valentine. He's both like a really strong character, but he's also really fair. He's very balanced, I think. Minus like Love Train. Love Train is pretty strong. But that's about the only like ridiculous thing he can do. And going from one of the most interesting and balanced characters to one of the most boring and just kind of one-note characters in the game, we got Kakyoin. Definitely the best zoner in the entire game, defensively and offensively. He's ridiculous. I don't think he's straight up as strong as Johnny when it comes to like just spamming his zone, but he can get some ridiculous damage and he can keep up a great consistency. The one thing holding him back from being absolutely busted is that his range for a zoner is pretty damn low. He has like medium range, and that's pretty odd to me, but his damage And his ability to just keep consistently dealing damage is stupid. First of all, he has a really good anti-guard move, which is his X, and then he has an EX version. It's just strong. He can just chew through your guard, and no matter where you are in the map, if you're hiding behind an obstacle, he can hit you with it as long as you're sitting still. And yeah, his entire game is just spam the square button to spam your zones, and occasionally use the enhanced square ability. You know, he's strong, but he also just does one thing the entire match, so it feels like he shouldn't be as strong as he is, but he is strong, dude. Especially when he goes into dual combo mode. I mean, you're basically just calling an AC 130. He can stay in the air literally as long as dual combo mode is active, and he can just spam. It's ridiculous. You'll see that right here once I actually land it right. That's actually one of the biggest counters to Kakyoin, is just standing under him. He can't shoot straight down because the tracking on his projectiles isn't amazing. So if you just stay under him, that's actually a really good counter. Keep in mind, though, once Kakyoin ends a rotation of his projectiles, he actually lays down a trap. So if you try to like jump up to Kakyoin or zone on Kakyoin after he finishes a combo, he actually has like a slight bit of protection that'll keep you from really doing much. And if he's like right in your face zoning, don't think just because the combo ended means that you get a combo, because, you know, he laid down a trap and you're gonna get zoned again. Kakyoin is just the most boring character in the game. His entire game plan is literally just jump, zone, jump, zone, jump, zone, and that's all people do. Mostly because that's all he really can do. It's Kakyoin. Like, there's not really much else for him to do. But it's just so boring. It's like literally the only thing he does. Maybe uses that one guard break move I mentioned earlier if you're hiding. But don't use Kakyoin. Don't be that guy. You know, if you're going to use Kakyoin, don't be a dick. Just don't use him. Use a more fun zoner. I don't get why anyone would want to use him unless they're just a sweaty tryhard. But, like, it's just so annoying. Because that's all he does, is just jump zone, jump zone. But yeah, I think he's an A tier. He's pretty strong. His damage is pretty good. And, you know, again, in dual combo mode, you just cannot get away from him. And we're immediately back to a character who has more flavor than a raw pack of ramen noodles. We got Bucciarati, who is probably, in my opinion, the most balanced character in the game, next to Valentine, because Valentine still has Love Train. Bucciarati is just so much fun. He doesn't really have an overpowered tool in his kit. He is the most fair character in the game, and he's just really fun. He's another kind of rush-down combo character, but he has so many interesting tools that make him really fun. He has a trap. He has some sort of longer-range combo starters. He has a teleport, which is interesting. There's not really a lot to say about Bucciarati, you know? He's just kind of a combo, rush-down character that's fun. There's not really anything else to say. Yeah. He's just good, balanced. That's what I love about this fucking game. He's just awesome. I feel like if you play Bucciarati, you're just kind of like a Chad instantly, because he's just such a cool character. And like, there's just some weird sense of honor. Maybe it's just the fact that Bucciarati is a great character on his own. But he's just so much fun to use. He's so much fun to fight against. He is the most fun character in the game, I would say, next to like Iggy for me personally, or Diego. He's just so much fun, and I love him, absolutely. One thing of note, though, is that he has an after-death state, which we haven't seen in a while. Basically, if he gets killed in a fight, and he's not the last one alive, he can come back with like half a health bar, I think. This is cool But I've had a lot of matches where the Bucciarati died, I was on very low health, and I was like, oh, thank God, I'm now going to go into dual heat attack mode, inherited soul mode, I think it's called, and now I can be able to beat both of these guys, but then the Bucciarati gets up, and I get comboed and died instead. And I'm just kind of like, well, I feel robbed. But that's literally my only complaint about Bucciarati, is sometimes he's just too cool to stay dead. That's literally my only complaint. But yeah, Bucciarati's an awesome character. If you're looking for like a cool, balanced character, or just looking for someone new to play, I always recommend Bucciarati. He's so cool to play. But yeah, that's really all I got for him. Sorry I keep ending all these with, yeah, that's all I really got, by the way. It's just that, you know, after talking about like 40 plus characters, the commentary might get a little stale, predictably. And now we're starting to get into the realm where I consider these characters as overpowered. We're still in the A tier, keep that in mind, so we're not in like the godlike characters yet. But as far as just these characters' strengths go, I would consider them overpowered. And not in the way of like, oh, if you fuck up, then this will happen. No, like they can pressure you super hard, they have really good abilities. And of course, who better to start it off than Part 1 Dio. I think he is, again, a really balanced character, but he's just leaning over that border between balanced and too good. He's just so fucking good. He's one of the best rushdown characters in the entire game. He has a bunch of combo extenders and just little combo moves that are absolutely insane. 3 of his moves absorb health, and he has 2 kinds of stuns, one of which is a counter. He has zoning. Yeah, he has zoning. I don't know why I hesitated so much to say that. Zoning? Yeah, he can zone. And honestly, not only is Dio's just longevity really good, he just can combo you for days. And in his EX mode, he can chain so many attacks together. It's like stupid. One of my favorite combos in his EX form is to use his remove. I hate saying that word because I know it's such like a big meme for JoJo fans. But yeah, he uses a square move, then his EX version, and then his EX triangle, which is his zoning attack. So you get 2 absorbs for a ton of health, and then of course his zone. One of my personal favorite things about Dio is just how long his combos can be. Like, there's a really easy, like, full health combo you can get on him where, yeah, what is it? And you don't even need EX version to use it. You could just do it raw. All you do is 2 square combos, full without the easy beat. Then you use the X ability where it stuns, walk behind for the backstab damage, circle into an air combo, and it's all completely free if you get 1 hit on them. If you get 1 square button on them, you just get the rest of the combo for free. But of course, Dio also has a lot of health regen, so keep that in mind because it's really good. Dio's just great. Dio is really goddamn good. He has a lot of hyper armor, which is actually really good for getting yourself out of a bad situation with an opponent. And like, all of his really busted stuff is like still kind of fair in a way. It's not like stupid. It's just, you know, it's just strong. Probably my favorite thing about Dio is that he's very much a momentum character. If you land any of like the health absorbing moves, you get a buff where you move faster, you deal more damage, and I want to say that you have damage resistance, but I'm not sure about that. You can tell because he'll have like a purple aura around him. And if you have that, then, you know, again, you're faster, you deal more damage, maybe health or damage reduction. It's really good. It's really good. And if you can keep that up, you can keep some insane pressure on your opponent, but, you know, that's just Dio. He's really good. And again, this is where I believe that the overpowered characters, or the really strong characters, kind of begin. Of course, because Dio has a wall walk. He has the ability to walk up a single wall on a single map. But for real, yeah, no. The one not good thing about him is if he dies, he just like shoots a laser, which is just kind of funny. It's just funny because it's just like it never hits, it never really deals much damage, and it's just disrespectful. It's just funny. But there's not a single bad thing about Dio, I don't think, other than the fact that his zoning maybe tracks a little bit too little. But that's just to balance him, you know? Now, for me personally, I actually put Alternate Universe Diego into the A tier rather than the S tier. I just think he fits a little bit better in high A tier. And people may be wondering, what makes Alternate Universe Diego S tier? Yeah, Diego's time stop's pretty ruthless. Probably the best time stop in the entire game as far as damage goes. Those clips are not at all a good representation of how actually powerful Diego's time stop is. If you really capitalize on it well, unlike I was doing here, honestly, the fact that it was a good connection almost made it harder to capitalize on it. Diego's time stop is absolutely ridiculous. I've taken out multiple health bars before on Diego's time stop if I'm in dual combo mode. Like, it's stupid how much damage you can do. Probably the biggest thing about Diego, though, is that without his time stop, he's just okay. But with that time stop, it's such a busted ability on any character, let alone Diego, who can, like I said, get rid of multiple health bars just in a few seconds. It's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous, the stuff Diego can do. But, you know, he's still good. He can't dash. I don't know. Outside of that, he's just okay. But he's really good defensively. Just damage-wise, outside of that, he's okay. He can trap opponents by dropping puddles on the ground and lighting them on fire. He can shoot you from really far away to deal, like, quarter health damage, which is really good. His barbed wire is definitely his most notable move, which is, again, a trapping tool, or you can just set up an anti-zoning barrier. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. But I wouldn't say he's S tier. I would not, personally, because there's a lot of characters that can just do so much more than him without time stop. And rounding off the Dio triad, we have Part 3 Dio in A tier as well. I didn't mean to put them all together, it just happened to happen, you know, when I was really considering it. I do put Part 3 Dio above Diego, though, because as far as just general ability to function, I think that Part 3 Dio is better. His zoning is better, his combos are way better. His time stop is only slightly weaker. Like, his time stop is still really good. There's a way in his dual combo mode to spam knives. I've seen people do it online, and I've had it happen to me a lot, where I'll just get comboed into oblivion with projectiles, like literally losing an entire health bar because they just juggle me on knives. But Dio's pretty good, even without that. And there's actually, fun fact, a time stop exploit that Dio can do. I've seen it happen before, where there's some weird glitch where you can just keep doing your Muda Rush in the air, and it doesn't, like, give you a limit on how often you can do it. And I've literally seen a guy zero to death another guy with that. and I was very confused at the time. I was just like a little new player, and I was like, oh shit, it's actually in my other JoJo video. But I was terrified, needless to say, because it was insane to watch this guy go from like blue health bar to dead. Granted, over the span of like a few minutes, but still, it was terrifying. And Dio is terrifying himself. He actually has the ability to regain some health if you do a triangle right after one square. And if you suck the blood of a Joestar, you can actually get a little buff to your dual heat gauge, which is really interesting. It's not a very good buff, I don't think, but it's you know, it's something. Now, Jotaro is going to be the start of a certain rushdown trend that I'm going to call Joestar combo inescapability. And it's this weird thing where, for most of the game, if you block a square combo, you can dash around it and then start your own. But specifically with a few characters, Jotaro being the first of a few, you can't just dash around it, because his hitbox is so large that there's a very high chance that he'll just hit you out of the dash and just continue the combo anyways. It's really cheap, really stupid, and it only happens for like 3 Joestar characters, specifically the 2 Jotaros and Josuke, but we'll get to the other 2 in a minute. For now, we got Part 3 Jotaro, who's, I think, a little bit worse than Part 4 Jotaro. Again, I mentioned his ridiculous combos. He can get some really good damage with his combos. Everyone knows the infamous start of a combo into EX Starfinger and then 2 auras. It's ridiculous. He can take a whole lot of your health really quickly. He has a lot of tools that help him with just keeping the opponent under wraps and in control. And he actually has like one of the best ground punishes in the game. It is completely just too strong for a single hit. It's like so strong. Yeah, Jotaro is just really strong. Especially for like a new player that doesn't really understand the mechanics of the game, so they can kind of bypass some of those. Yeah, Jotaro's just strong, dude. Aside from that, the 2-second time stop I would almost say is more powerful than like the 6-second Dio and Diego time stop, just because you can use it mid-combo, like you can see here. I was able to just pop that and extend the combo for free. Usually a lot of people like to just use it for the dual heat attack. I think that's wasting it a bit. You could at least wait till the end of your time stop to use dual heat attack, but then again, it is only 2 seconds, so it's not a whole lot of capitalization. But I'm just saying, get creative with it, guys. You can do so much with this and save the dual heat attack for defense or something. But yeah, Jotaro's really good. Now the beefcakes are coming in full force, because next we got Wamuu, who is really good. And I mean really, really good. Wamuu has some of the most ridiculously high damaging combos in the entire game. He just like basically shits on the floor and it'll knock out half a health bar. This guy's crazy, especially when you're using his wind mode and dual combo mode. A single use of his EX wind tunnel gets you like, I want to say like maybe 3/4 of a health bar gone. It's crazy, like just one raw attack if you're using both dual combo and wind mode. Keep in mind, Wamuu also has the ability to use his triangle to be able to kind of just ignore projectiles for a short while, which is really nice. And the EX version as well. Also, he has not only the ability to make himself completely unable to be locked on, which is insane in this game, because locking onto people is such an important mechanic. That's why characters like Joshu can actually get pretty screwy. Wamuu also has a completely uninterruptible guard break ability. Or not even an ability, it's just his regular guard break. You just can't interrupt it unless you use a like grab or anything like that, but 90% of the time you're not going to be able to react quickly enough for it. This is really good if you're looking to just like trade with an opponent for a combo, because honestly, especially if you're in dual combo mode, you can get some shit going with this. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, Wamu's got some crazy damage, just like our next competitor, and he's just really, really good. I considered him being my main for a little while, and that kind of fell off because I realized that Wamu's kind of a, you know, you do one thing the entire match kind of character, but he's still really fun, and I would recommend him for any new player who's just looking for a really, like, slow powerhouse type character. Now you might be starting to notice a trend. The JoJos who've gotten pussy are higher up than the others. Coincidence? I think not. Jonathan is like dipping his toe into the S tier. Like, he might as well be an S tier. The only thing that's keeping him from being an S tier is that he doesn't have anything particularly broken. His after death state is kind of dookie. And he also has the slowest dash in the game, literally taking so much longer than anyone else. But literally this guy, as you can see in the clips, you can go back to when I was beating up on the Diego Brando for a minute there. This guy literally can just delete an entire health bar in one combo. He's ridiculous. His damage is so high. This guy has, I think, one of the highest hyper armor counts of any character in the entire game. If you try to block this guy, it doesn't matter. He has unblockables. If you think, oh, the combo's over, no, he's going to use the stun or his, like, what is it even called? Jesus, I can't believe I can't remember Zoom Punch. I'm not even a real JoJo fan. It's ridiculous. Jonathan has the absolute, some of the best combo damage in the entire game. There is no question. He is so strong. And it feels like playing against him is almost always just this worthless endeavor, because the moment you get touched, you lose a health bar. There is no other way of saying it. Granted, he does have to kind of spam some EX moves, but he's a Hamon user, so he gets his EX moves back surprisingly quickly. But he just does so much damage, and yeah, like I said, the one thing keeping him out of S tier is that he's just like high damage, but he's kind of slow, and his transformation is ass. That is literally the only thing keeping him out of S tier. And finally, to cap off our A tier, we got Jotaro Part 4, who is one of the most annoying characters to fight against. But he's really good. He is literally just Part 3 Jotaro, but with zoning. Like, he's just so strong. It takes away the abilities that you never use and replaces them. Well, actually, the one ability you never use, and replaces it with a little range projectile, and it's really good. It's honestly just completely changes the way his character functions. The EX version of his projectile shoots 3 bullets instead of 1, which is, or ball bearings, what the fuck ever. It's really good, okay? You can absolutely shred someone's guard with this, especially if you use them back to back and they just keep guarding like an idiot. Part 4 Jotaro is really good. There's a reason people use him a lot more than Part 3 Jotaro. He may not be as much of a combo monster as Part 3 Jotaro, but he makes up for it more so in both the fact that he deals more damage overall, I would say, and the fact that, yeah, he has projectiles, which is just insane. I will say, though, be careful with this guy, because he actually, his guard break knocks the opponent down rather than making them slowly fall. So if you're the kind of person who really likes to like chain guard breaks into a sort of, you know, what am I trying to say? If you're the kind of person who likes to guard break into a combo so you can get like a free easy combo, he can't do that. He just knocks him down right away. I guess unless you're in dual combo mode, maybe. Yeah, just keep that in mind. But he's still stupid strong. He's so strong. And he still has time stop. I feel like the time stop is just a little bit shorter, but I'm probably wrong about that. But yeah, that's all I got for Jotaro. And here I thought that I would actually be able to put this video into 2 parts. But yeah, I'm just stupid apparently. So yeah, let's just split it into 3. Because apparently Share Factory is allergic to anything that is more than, 60 minutes. This last video, I promise it's going to be the last part. There's only like a little bit over 20 minutes for this next one. But yeah, let's just hope we can get it out before long.